Is it working? I think my microphone's working. I think I worked it out, guys. Yes. Hello, everybody. Levi Clay here, and I'm back again, finally back again, for another listening party video. This is actually something that I'm doing as part of a bigger video project that I'm working on. I'm wanting to make a video about this specific album, talking to you about some of the really cool guitar parts on it. I'm learning some of the guitar parts on it. I think this is an underrated album, but we'll talk more about that over the coming hour or so. So yeah, for those unfamiliar, my name is Levi Clay, and I'm an idiot, to be honest. I'm a goofball on YouTube. And more recently, I've enjoyed doing these listening party videos where we check out an album, talk about the album, listen to the album together, and get a good idea of what's good about the album and what's bad about the album. That's really important. When I listen to this, I'm going to be making note of everything that I think is excellent on the album, but I'm not going to be afraid to point out the things that I think suck. And there are definitely a few things that suck about this album. Having said that, are we ready for controversial statement of the evening? Controversial statement number one of the evening. I think Chinese Democracy, for me personally, is Guns N' Roses' second best album. There you go. I said it. I'll sit here for a second. I'll let everybody get really angry about me saying that, but that is how I feel. So deal with it, bitches. Obviously, Appetite for Destruction is better than Chinese Democracy. Appetite for Destruction is possibly the greatest hard rock album of all time. I'd probably argue it's the greatest hard rock album of all time. I think Chinese Democracy is excellent. How is the audio acting weird, Peter? Let me know. In fact, I'll tell you what, I guess I can find out. Let me have a look at this. Fucking Raid Shadow Legends. Hang on. Okay, yep, that's the noise gate. Hang on, I'll just change the gate settings. So obviously, setting up a new PC means that I need to, if I turn that off, we've now got no noise gate. So I'll just have to... I'll have to do less of this, okay? So I'll just talk like that, all right? How's the audio now? Is the audio better? We can work without a noise gate for a while, and then it's annoying. Like, I'm obviously spontaneously streaming. I really was excited about the fact that I think I've got my camera set up, so I thought I would just give it a go. And then I was like, oh shit, I've not sorted out a noise gate. So I just threw on the first noise gate settings. I haven't actually tweaked them. Obviously, I'll put some time into that. Anyway, so yeah, there's controversial statement of the evening. I think this album is Guns N' Roses' second best album. Anyway, let me give you a bit of an update, guys, because I know what you're thinking. Well, at least I hope I know what you're thinking. Levi, you've not uploaded a video in a long time. You've not done any videos other than Guitar Tales videos in a long time. Yeah, it's been a really rough few months outside of my PC blowing up and having to completely build a new PC. That's been fun. Still not working properly. Wouldn't surprise me if halfway through this stream my camera just randomly stops working. That has been a thing that's been happening. I enjoy it very much. Outside of that, I got really ill. I got really, really ill, actually. Like, hit me in the head with a baseball bat just to put me out of my misery ill. I had an awful migraine. I took a lot of painkillers for that, and I think those painkillers, a side effect of those painkillers was ulcers. I ended up giving myself severe mouth ulcers, so I'm still not speaking quite myself. My tongue is still very sore. Lips are still a little bit sore. But I'm starting to feel a little bit more human now, so it's nice to be back. Nice to be back in the land of the living. And also, while I was ill, I thought, you know what, I'll cut my hair because I need a haircut. So I got a nice new set of clippers. I thought to myself, well, 2 mil on the side of my head, that'll be fine, won't it? Realised actually, no, 2 mil. That's basically bald. I have no fucking hair. Where's my hair gone? I'm bald. That wasn't my smartest decision. Definitely not my smartest decision. And it also really brought out just how much psoriasis I have all over the side of my head. Well, it's all over my head, actually. But yeah, so look at that. Wow. That is a bad hair day. Woo! It'll be fine. It's fine when I either tie it up or put something on it. But in the meantime, we'll be wearing a hat this evening, just to keep it out of the way. So I think I actually preferred the hat the other way. Let's do that. So yeah, that was a big accident. I didn't mean to do that. Immediately, shaved this chunk out of my head, and then Like after I took one shave, I looked in the mirror and went, fuck, 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 fuck. Fortunately, it was okay though. Fortunately, I think it's I think it panned out all right. So yeah. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a look at these comments. So Joe Lang, who's Guns N' Roses, bahaha. I think we all know that. Lido, hello. Not sure if it's a problem with my phone. Audio's clipping. Yeah, sorted that. Thank you very much for pointing that out to me. Audio's still not the best. Okay, right. Hang on, 2 seconds. Because that's not good. Oh, that's no good. Oh no, hang on. That was earlier, wasn't it? Hang on. Oh. Oh, that's not good, is it? That's utterly fucking useless. Okay, looks like we're going for my old microphone. Sorry guys. 2 seconds. Professionalism. Oh, that's really annoying, actually. I'll turn this down. You should be able to hear me now. How's that? Can you hear me? Oh, that's really disappointing. I'm doing this stream just so I could test out the microphone, and evidently you can't hear me. So, yeah. I'll test that out. I'll try and work out why the hell that's happening. It's just one more thing, one more ghost in the machine, as it were. That's really annoying. I'm sorry about that. Hang on, I should be able to check to see if that's any better for me now. Maybe. Let's have a look. Oh, that doesn't sound good. All right, it's not the worst. It works. It'll function. You'll put up with it, I'm sure. Yeah. Paul McEwen says, I used to trade demos with a guy who moved from Edinburgh to LA, and I had GNR, Faster Pussycat, Fane, Jane's Addiction, like it. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, all right, we'll make do. We'll make do with this one. So, right, let's talk Chinese democracy. I love this record. I legitimately love this record. I remember when this album came out, and I went to see Bumblefoot. He did a sort of promo thing that was put on in Chapels of Bond Street in London. That's where I played my first Vigier. It was actually that Vigier, the one that's there. Long story behind that guitar. It was in the shop. I couldn't buy it, but 3 years later, it was still in the shop, and I went in and saw that it was still in the shop, and it was reduced to £1,000. So I was like, "Fucking give me that guitar right now!" And she's been with me ever since 2013. I've had that guitar. Yeah. So, but that's all from the history of Chinese democracy. Not that it was on the album or anything like that, but a close connection. Yeah, you can hear a lot more room now, Paul. Sorry, you're getting the webcam mic, so not really much I can do. I don't know why that's happening. It'll take me anything technology related takes me a long time to work out because I'm not very technologically minded. Sup, Lel Traco or is that Lel Traco? Lel, yeah, Lel Traco. Okay, before I tell you about Chinese democracy, let me just do this for you. Yeah, just making sure you're getting that. So this is, credits below. Just want to say thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. You guys absolutely rock. Would not be able to do this without you guys. So thank you very much, especially over the last month where things have been an absolute nightmare. I've got some big plans coming up. Got a big interview with Kiko Loureiro coming up. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. Going to be doing some Kiko transcribing on the channel, which is going to be sweet. So thank you very much. If you don't want to support the channel on Patreon, that's fine, though there is a link in the description. There's also a link in the description to my books. You can check them out over on Amazon. And yeah, another great way to support the channel. Great way to support the channel, great way to support me. And those are good things to do. So thank you very much. You guys absolutely rock. So yeah, it's a great story that goes with that guitar. Really, really great story. I used to go into that shop every few months to play that guitar because it was such a great guitar. And if it was in any other shop, someone would have bought it. But Chapels, just off of Oxford Street, is not the place people go to buy guitars. You know, it's a Yamaha dealer. So all the guitars in there are £300 Yamahas. It's mainly a piano shop, right? So they have all these really, really, really budgety electric guitars and lots of nice pianos. And then just like 3 or 4 several £1,000 guitars. I think that guitar was like £3,000 in that shop or something like that. So the people that were going in to buy guitars weren't going in to spend that sort of money. So obviously it never ended up selling. And then, they ended up marking it down to an absolutely silly price, and I had to have it. It'd been just there's slightly more to it than that. Like I say, I used to go in every few months just to play it. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But I couldn't afford a guitar like that. And then when I started working more professionally, I think it was my first trip out to the States for work. Towards the end of that NAMM show, I got to know the guys at Vigier at that NAMM show, and I was telling my girlfriend at the time, I've always wanted a Vigier guitar. There's this one Vigier guitar in Chappells back home, and she said, show me it. And I went online to show her a picture of it, and that was when I saw it was on sale for a silly price. Like I say, it was £999. We were flying home the next day, so I called Chappells and I said, whoa, guys, can you please put that guitar aside for me? I'm not in the country at the moment. I'm flying back tomorrow. I will get in a cab from the airport and I won't even go home. I will stop the cab outside your shop and I will come in and buy it. Please put that guitar aside for me. It's too special to not have that guitar. Please do that. And that's exactly what I did. So absolutely awesome. Yeah, love that guitar. So let's talk about Chinese Democracy. So if you want to talk about an album with a story, you talk about Chinese Democracy. This is the much maligned Guns N' Roses album. And look, I understand. Let's put this out there, right? As if you want to rate this as a Guns N' Roses album, I totally understand why people are going to give this album shit. It doesn't sound like a Guns N' Roses album because it's really not, is it? It's an Axl Rose solo project album, right? I'll give you that. Okay, as a Guns N' Roses album, it's awful. But as a rock album, it's a great rock album. It is a great rock album. And if you're like me and you grew up on Axl Rose's voice, it doesn't matter that it's not Guns N' Roses. In the same way that the David Lee Roth band, it doesn't matter that's not Van Halen, because David Lee Roth is the voice that I want to hear. So when he goes off and does something else, that's what I want to hear. When Sammy Hagar comes into Van Halen, that's not what I want to hear because it's not the voice that I want to hear. So when this happens, when Axl does this, sure, it's not what I'm expecting, but it is what I want to hear because it's Axl's voice. And I'm a big fan of Axl's voice. Not a big fan of Axl the person, of course, nobody is, but big fan of Axl's voice. So as far as rock albums go, I think this is a much better rock album than it is a Guns N' Roses album. If you want a story, you go onto Wikipedia and you check out the Wikipedia page for this album. It is a long Wikipedia page, and obviously I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but it would make sense that it's a long page, right? Because this album took the best part of 15 years to record. This album has a long and troubled history. I'll give you the basic rundown. So Chinese Democracy, the sixth studio album by American hard rock band Guns N' Roses, released on November 23rd, 2008 by Black Frog and Geffen Records. It was their first album since 1993's The Spaghetti Incident, and their first album of original studio material since Use Your Illusion Volumes 1 and 2, released simultaneously in 1991. The album underwent a protracted record process, delayed by personal and legal problems and vocalist Axl Rose's perfectionism. So, yeah, because of that, because this was recorded over 15 years, there are a lot of lineup changes that went over the course of this album being recorded. There are a lot of members, a lot of band members on this album. Just reading through the personnel, you've got Axl Rose, lead vocals. Robin Fink plays guitar on all the tracks, some keyboards, some acoustic guitar, arrangement, editing, initial production, etc. Bumblefoot, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, plays guitar on all of the tracks. Buckethead plays guitar on most of the tracks. You've got Paul Tobias plays guitar on some of the tracks. Richard Fortis plays guitar on some of the tracks. Tommy Stinson plays bass guitar on a lot of the album. Brian Mantia? Yeah, drums. Frank Ferreira plays drums as well. Dizzy Reed plays keyboards. Chris Pittman keyboards as well. John Freese credited with arrangements. There's a lot of people on this album, right? There's a lot more guitar players than you could ever really deal with, and because of that, it certainly has a what would be the word? It's like there's a schizophrenic feel to the record, right? I love songs like Shackles Revenge. Now that really sounds like a Buckethead song. Really. There's the auto wah vibe going on, that the auto wah envelope filter sound that's just, it screams Buckethead. But then the guitar solos are so obviously Bumblefoot. It's wild. Definitely not Slash. Let's go with that though. Definitely not Slash. So yeah, honestly, I would recommend that you go through and check out some of the legacy behind this record, because there's as I say, a ridiculously long history behind this album, and there were demos of this that were floating around, obviously, for a very long time. The mega Guns N' Roses fans will tell you that the demos are better than the original recording, and sure, why not? It doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm glad that they all exist, because it's just more of what I love, which is Axl Rose's voice. So yeah, give it that. That's cool. I guess the fun one is it was Dr. Pepper, wasn't it? Yeah. So Dr. Pepper, being like any fucking corporation, wanted to use someone else as a marketing, a PR opportunity, and they made a bet, a public challenge to Axl Rose, and it was if the album was released by. Here it is. Yeah, on March 26, 2008, media reported that soft drinks manufacturer Dr. Pepper would offer a free can of its product to everyone in America, excluding former Guns N' Roses guitarist Buckethead and Slash, if the band released Chinese Democracy in 2008. On the Guns N' Roses website, Rose wrote of his surprise at the company's support and said he would share his Dr. Pepper with Buckethead. After it was announced that the album would be released in 2008, Dr. Pepper confirmed that it would uphold its pledge. However, on the album's release, the Dr. Pepper website servers crashed under the demand for coupons. Lawyers for the band threatened Dr. Pepper's parent company with a lawsuit 2 days after the album's release. In a letter to the company, Rose's lawyer, Alan Gutman, said that the redemption scheme your company clumsily implemented for this offer was an unmitigated disaster which defrauded consumers and, in the eyes of vocal fans, ruined Chinese Democracy's release. Okay. Gutman also demanded a full-page apology to appear in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, the New York Times, and the Los Angeles Times. Later, in an online interview with fans, Rose said he told his lawyers it was a non-issue and was surprised by their actions, and that he believed that they should have focused on the record release. That's really interesting. Really, really interesting, because I believe that because I want to believe that. I think that I genuinely think that a lot of the stuff that goes on with Guns N' Roses is management. A lot of the stuff that goes on with Guns N' Roses is just the business people doing the business side of things and not running anything by Axl, because it's that stupid stuff to do, isn't it? Yeah. So right, let me read some of these comments, and then we will check the album out. So yeah, so the best solo, this I love. Oh, Richard says, I have never actually listened to this album, ever. Should be interesting. It's a great album, Richard, I promise. Joe Clifford says, great guitar story. What a bargain. Did not give this album a fair shake because Axl's such a prick. But he is. I'll give you that. I'll absolutely give you that, man. He is. Zero took a break from Jack's album to be here. Jokes aside, haven't actually listened to this album all the way through. Wow. So Benjamin's absolutely right here. Slash playing songs from Chinese Democracy live is weird. I will give you that. To me, what's even weirder is Axl Rose playing Velvet Revolver songs, because they do Sliver live, don't they? I can't believe that Axl's like, hey, you want me to sing a song that you did when you weren't in the band? Oh, sure, I guess. Absolutely fucking wild. This is a really good comment. Ricardo Rodriguez says Chinese Democracy is an underrated album from an overrated band. I don't know if I disagree with that. Yeah, cool. So Hamish Hunter says he hates this album. Soz. That's okay. I didn't make it. You're not offending me personally. And ultimately, even if you left a comment there saying, "Oh, hey Levi, I checked out your album, Hellcat Molly's Out of the Ashes." Of course, there's a link in the description, and I fucking hated it. That wouldn't matter to me, because I'm just glad that you've taken the time to listen. You know, making a piece of art that somebody viscerally dislikes is still making a piece of art that affects someone in some way. So yeah, that's good. That's all cool. So, I've just realised how bad that cut on my moustache is there. Levi Clay, the grooming king. Right, let me bring this album up. So, as those of you that have seen a listening party stream before will know, I don't play the music over my stream. Can't do that. Copyright infringement, and respecting copyright is important to me. There is a link in the description where you can check this album out on Spotify, and you can listen along. To reiterate, you will not be hearing the music over this stream. So anyone that comes in and asks, "Where's the music? I can't hear the music," let them know. Link in the description. You'll always be able to see what track I'm listening to, and you'll be able to see how far I am through the track. So if you get lost, you can join in. So it's a relatively long album, hour and 10 minutes long. I am going to hit play on Chinese Democracy in about a minute. So give yourselves a minute to cue it up. Honestly, wild. This is a wild album. I'm going to make some notes while I'm listening to it because I want to have some notes for when I make a follow-up video on this record. So I'm just going to bring up a notepad file. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted that the audio didn't work. I was so excited when I thought I'd sorted that out. Right, what am I doing? This over here. There we go. Right, cool. So Appetite is one of the classic debut albums. Early Guns N' Roses had Passion and Anger. Yeah. Everybody loves like Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, and I think that people are mortified when I say this is the second best Guns N' Roses album. But for me, when I listen to Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, each one has like some great moments on it, but they're not great from start to finish. Appetite for Destruction is great from start to finish. Great from start to finish. Yeah? Awesome. There's no denying that. Chinese Democracy isn't great from start to finish. There are a few moments in the album that I'm not going to say I would skip, but I could do without, especially on an album as long as this. But this song is very good all the way through. At least I feel it's very good all the way through. So, yeah. Controversial, I know, but I really do like this album. Okay, so Chinese Democracy. The song is queued up. Yeah, you'll get used to the room mic sound, but it's just not professional, right? And when you have a camera shot that's as good as this, you want the audio to be as good as this. Why is this? This is doing nothing. I might as well just do the entire stream like this, you know? If anything, it must be confusing to anyone that just turns on and they see me, see this wonderful professional shot, this handsome bearded bastard of a man speaking into a industry standard professional microphone, and the audio sounds like this. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to play Chinese Democracy in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy. There's a slow burn on the start of this track. Takes a while to get in. The other thing to note with this album is I'm not really up on who played which parts. So I will definitely make an arse out of myself while listening to this, going, oh yeah, that's a cool little solo from Bumblefoot there, and someone will say, well actually that's Richard Fortus, or obviously one of the criticisms this album gets is that Axl's vocals he can't sing like this. True, but it still sounds the way it does, so I don't care how much it was massaged in the studio. It still sounds great. I love the album starts like this as well. It's just so like, it's just letting you know, this is not Slash. That's like 9 Inch Nails, And Axl's vocal range, whoo! He loves those thick triple track in the vocal, the really low. They were missionaries. Really low and the high. Love it. Blame it on the fallen Kong. That voice. Love it. Focus. Even when the dying fist. I thought it was Iron Grip, it's not, it's Iron Fist. Buckethead is playing on this album, yes, Dawson. I think Buckethead plays the solo on this track. I'm sure. That's shredding through the... But still rock shredding, you know? So who's this? It's going to be, what, Richard or Robin? But then this is Bumblefoot, right? Now, to be fair, I'm not actually a big Buckethead fan. He's got a... He sounds like him, you know? No one sounds like Brian. It's just not really my cup of tea. Stop making me feel worse, Peter. The other thing I find really interesting about this album is just how much fretless guitar is on this album. There is so much fretless guitar on this record. Really. Tons of it. It's for Buckethead discography listening pie. Yeah, I'll be here till I'm 400. Fantastic. The main solo was definitely Buckethead there. No doubt about that. So that rhythm, that auto wire, that's Buckethead, right? Listen to the low harmony on that low voice. I've got a funny free. That's like mega baritone. Axl has some serious vocal range. Bumblefoot does all the solos on this track. I love that disco beat. Love it. So I put a video out of me playing the chorus to this, the tapping section over the end, and very Buckethead, right, with the whammy pedal. And all these, just these layers and layers of vocals just everywhere. Like, you get that Axl's really trying to do something with this. He's not a Paul Gilbert copycat, no, but he's very influenced by Paul. Very influenced by Paul. Bumblefoot is the nicest guy. I love all those layers. There's just so much going on. You got the main vocal that's doubled in octaves. There's a counter melody in there, and you get the question answer phrase. It's really nice. But this solo, right? I remember seeing the tab book for this album and seeing a tab for this and being like, how the fuck do you tab that out? I didn't know it was a fretless at the time. Listen to this solo. This is fretless guitar, and it's so fucking cool. So cool. You get another fretted solo. This is also Bumblefoot. And you can tell because the sweep tap. And then over this last chorus, I don't know why I don't need this mic. There's this really cool tapping part that Ron plays, and he sings backing vocals when he's doing this live. You got this. Don't believe there's a reason I don't believe it. I can't do it. I'm sure I can do it if I try. I don't believe there's a reason I don't believe in. I don't believe there's a reason I don't believe. No. Ridiculous. I love that. That tapping part at the end. It's just such a gem. And when you watch videos of them doing that live and Bumblefoot nailing that, so fucking good. So this is the closest they come to a single. I worked it all out, Paul. I know how to play it. Great riff. Loads of space. Super cool riff. Little bit of auto-tune you could hear there. I like this track. It's got such a heavy breakdown, like heavy. Love it. That sweep with a high note with no vibrato on it is a very Bumblefoot thing. I could be wrong, but very Bumblefoot to do that. I really like this groove. Really like this groove. That lead guitar part's really interesting as well. Better. No one ever told me when I was a young man just born. I know better, better. This could be your least favourite track because it's overplayed. So who is this solo, right? Let's have a listen. It's going to be... this is Buckethead. Kill switch. That is heavy. And when the vocal comes over the top of this is some of Axl's best vocal work. This is like a pissed off, yeah, really angry Axl. I love it. I never wanted you to be someone I got. I never wanted you to be somebody else. I never wanted you to be someone afraid to know themselves. I only wanted you to speak for yourself. Love it. Super cool. Loses the groove a little bit here, but I get. Of course, that's the idea. It's Buckethead, right? There's the Buckethead tapping lick there as well. Very cool. This is a really good solo. Really good solo. I don't know who plays it. I like the stutter effect at the end of Buckethead solo there, but really that outro solo with those double bends, beautiful. A super lo-fi drum noise, like a noise track that you'd get on a NES. Very cool. Okay, so now you get the inevitable Axl Rose, I like to write something on the piano thing. There are some nice moments in this song, don't get me wrong. This was called The Blues on the demos. And there's definitely some weird auto-tune artifacts on the voice in this one. To me, this is very representative of what Guns N' Roses had become by the time they essentially split up, and I hated it. I'm sorry, what a good voice. Yeah, I'd buy that, Robin being the guitarist on the solo. Very nice solo. Tasty. Don't forget to hit like. Smash that like button. Slap. Fucking hell. What a voice. Such a great voice. Let's go the blue. Oh, oh, oh. You get this modulation, which is cool. And when this theme comes back towards the end of the song and it builds, generally speaking, I don't like this in my rock songs. The big string arrangements and pianos, but so if that was Robin on the last track, was that Robin again? That's got to be Ron. That's Ron. I can probably turn off Audacity. You don't need to. We're not using it. Yeah, right. The second solo is Ron. Ron has this very identifiable vibrato that's nowhere near as wide as you'd expect it to be. He had a car wreck, if I remember, and it significantly impacted his ability to do that type of thing. And I think you can hear it. So the song could end there, right? You'd be fine for it to end there. But this is an album where Axl wants to show you how fucking good he can be if he wants to be. And that's what we get now. Listen to the guitar behind it. Let's go higher though. Oh, sorry, it's the guitar, isn't it? Yeah. That's I put that on and just what I say. But I won't ruin it. Hey Pete, how's it going? I was thinking of hitting you up to do a cover. I want to do a cover of Alabama Wildman. I think you do a hilarious Jerry Reed. Totally different vibe here now, and then you got the electronic influences there. The electric nylon guitar is an electric nylon guitar. But super synthy, like slick string parts. Great vocal though. I just slip away. Axl definitely has that kind of Marmite quality to his voice, right? You either love it or yeah. But he's Bob Dylan. Great vocal. How have we gone? Oh yeah, this is totally an Axl Rose album. But let's be realistic, okay? You're Axl Rose. You own the name Guns N' Roses. You're not going to release an album under the name Axl Rose, are you? It's going to sell because it's got the name Guns N' Roses on it. Your record label are going to tell you to put Guns N' Roses on it. But this is totally an Axl Rose album. But that's fine. As I said, this is a terrible Guns N' Roses album, but this is a great rock album. This really is Axl's best vocal work, yeah. I mentioned the Wikipedia page at the start, Randy. Usually I take a look through them when I'm doing the... Oh, sorry, I should be listening solo. So who's this? Who knows? It's okay. Not the best, not the worst. It's just too long a Wikipedia page to go through at the start of a video, right? And there's like rhythm guitars, 2 lead guitar parts there. It's like this huge layered thing. This is probably my least favourite song on the album. One of my least favourite songs on the album. I used to hate the song This I Love, but actually, now I know what the song is about. When you really forget the fact it's a slow ballad, if you really listen to the lyrics, you really focus on what this song is about, I can't hate the song. That's got to be Buckethead, hasn't it? Does it sound like Paul Gilbert playing nylon string? Yeah, it's Buckethead. Okay, there was a time. There was a time when people wouldn't even listen to me if I told them this was a good album. Evidently, take 12 years. Wait 12 years and then people might listen to you. Yeah, Randy, it takes a really objective listener to listen to this and be able to say it's still a good album. For most people, the hatred they have of Axl and the way he's behaved publicly is too much for them to put it aside and listen to the music, listen to the art. This is a great piece of art. Shredding pentatonic on the side there, left ear. And it bugs me that there was no follow-up to this, because there could have been, and there was material for it. Bumblefoot wrote a ton. When you listen to his Little Brother Is Watching album, there are several songs on that are so obviously Guns N' Roses songs. Argentina, I think, could easily have been a Guns N' Roses song. It's all the person who releases it, right? If when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, this was his first album, people would love it. I actually own this album on Rock Band, and I love sitting down and just playing along on drums. I like drums too much. Little Brother Is Watching is a great record, yeah. So again, you'd think maybe that's the song nearly over, but it's not even halfway through. I feel really bad for Ron over the Guns N' Roses thing, because I know he was really mistreated, not just by Axl, more than other people in the band. They wanted him to know he was an outsider. What a beautiful pull off! Beautiful pull off. What is that? I know what ridiculous means is 2 notes just played. Ba-da. There's just that pull off. It was so legato, smooth, beautiful. Very nice solo. Didn't wanna know it all. Didn't wanna know it all. I don't wanna know it. That guitar solo is a bit low in the mix. It's clearly a solo, clearly a featured solo. What? Fuck me, what a voice! I would do anything to have that voice. I'm not saying I'm not saying everybody, but let's just say there were certain members of that band that felt like that was their gig, and anytime anything could slightly be perceived as you being out of place, doing something wrong, they made sure that that message got to management, and they went out of their way to make sure, just so you know, this is my gig, you're in my shadow. I heard that story from several people in that camp. So the tapping, that's Buckethead, isn't it? Starter. This is trying to recapture that, end of Night Train live vibe. I would love so much to sit down and have a conversation with Brian Carroll. Not Buckethead, Brian Carroll. I'd love to talk to the man behind Buckethead. Really get a feel for him, because he's a very interesting guy. Smashing song. Okay, Catcher in the Rye. This has got a great solo in it. We are not at the halfway point yet. And I'm so happy about that. Some really tasty lead guitar parts in that just complement the rhythm guitars. Run's one of my all-time heroes. Wonderfully talented guy and just a wonderful man. That lead guitar part in there's a little bit out for me. Not that it's wrong, it's jazzy, and I don't think that fits the song. And there's modulation for the chorus. I know there's a recording of this knocking around with Brian May on guitar. Or at least I've heard there is. I thought it's played on this album. Let me tell you where he played. He plays guitar on Chinese Democracy, Better and Street of Dreams, There Was a Time, and Prostitute. So he's not on this track. Na, 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 na. I can't sing today. All right. No, I'm doing a live stream. Come say hello.
Oh, sorry.
You all right?
Oh. Sorry. Well, boys.
We're just enjoying some Guns N' Roses.
Oh, okay. Have fun. Michael.
Hey, son. Michael. So I did see that that Buckethead interview. It felt a bit predatory to me because of who he was doing it with. The interview was done with. There was a motive there to me. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a health condition. I'm saying that somebody took advantage of that. It felt to me like someone was taking advantage of that fear that Brian clearly has. Ron's an absolute health freak as well, actually. Really, really into looking after himself, which I respect. Clearly not enough to do it. Na 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 I actually could have turned the camera on the Sony rather than on the Brio. Definitely strikes me as social anxieties. Yeah. I'm just happy to, as I say, hear Axel. Not too sure who the solo is. There are some guys that could really tell you. There are some. Why does it stop focusing on my face? Focus on my face. Stupid autofocus. Okay, scraped the intro in this, so there's no way this is Axel singing, right? This is keyboard, but his vocals on or tuned, vocal tuned to fuck. But I like it. I really like that. I'll always remember the song because of that intro. It's just a really powerful. I like it a lot. And you get this building vibe in the verse. No, IRS has the best vocal part in it. I'm here to tell you that you're worth more than they tell you. Just take that. I'm here to tell you they're worth. I'm here to tell you they're worth more than they tell you. Is that what he said there? Yeah, I believe that, Cannibal Curd. There's all these strange vocal artifacts in this song. Oh. Yeah, Pete, I saw them. I would have been 3 years ago now. Download, and they were great. They were really fucking good. Thanks, Peter. My wife just came back from Marcus's house. I've not seen him in a while. What's that? Is that fretless guitar? We fretless guitar solo. Cool. This album now has more fretless solos than my album. Yes, I played fretless on my record as well. I think that you're contractually obliged to, if you're a Vigier artist, you have to have fretless on your album. That high vocal harmony, Axel killing it again. No, they never. Austin, Bumblefoot, and Buckethead never played together. No. Okay, so Riyadh and the Bedouins is I think the sleeper hit on this album. This track is fucking great. And the thing I really like about it is the syncopation as it goes into the chorus. You pull into the chorus an eighth note before you expect it to, and it's just so powerful for the way it does it. I love it. Really love it. Love this track. And it also goes into like a halftime groove for that, and there's more space in the guitar part. You have this really aggressive like drive-in verse, and then suddenly hit the chorus an eighth note early, and just lock into a solid groove. This is a great tune. Really is. Love the song. I mean, that's going to get memed, isn't it? So you got this drive-in tom groove, right? There. 2, 3, 4, and somewhere in time. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and is where that chorus is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. It's funny. While I said I love playing this on Rock Band and just playing the drums along with it, really I should enjoy the mic. I should enjoy singing this record because. Oh, it doesn't do the high. See here? No. And then we pull it back, build up for, and what do we get now? The end of the solo so abrupt as well. God, so cool. Fretless, Bumblefoot. And I really admire that, right? Because I think there's a degree of, if you're in a band as big as... Sorry, let's listen to the Buckethead. That's got to be Bucket, isn't it? Had a plan and thought they'd win. We had the better wins. Had a plan and thought they'd win. Awesome song. Yeah, I have a lot of admiration for the amount of fretless that Bumblefoot plays on this, because there's no need for this, like, well, I should probably play something that people will want to play themselves or be able to play on their own guitars. Just doing something like this, where it's like, I'm just going to create a crazy soundscape here that you won't be able to do. I love that. I hate the vocal delivery on this song. When Axl sings, I don't want to do it. It sounds like he's putting on a stupid accent. I find it offensive, not in any sort of racial way, but for my intelligence. But I don't want to do it. Ready for it? But I don't want to do it. What the fuck are you doing, Axl? Thanks for tuning in, Paul. But I don't want to do it. That ruins the whole song. And it's funny that the song is called Sorry, because I don't accept your apology. What were you thinking? I think it's also really easy to forget when you have a burning hatred of someone, the way that tons of people do for Axl Rose. It's when you do that, it's very easy to dehumanize someone and to forget that they are a person. They are a human and they have their own wants and dreams and visions and shit like that. And to me, that's what this album sounds like. It sounds like someone that's trying to tell the world that, like, you think I'm an asshole, but I'm still gonna. I've got my thing. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do me, and fuck what you think. I hate the way the press treats Axl. I really do. Sometimes I feel the same about guys like Rob Chapman and Steve T. Sometimes. That's because I'm a human capable of compassion. But I don't want to do it. There was no vibrato on that note. Still better than Slash. I think that might have been Ron. But I don't want to do it. On that solo, was that Buckethead? Oh, sweet. Yeah, send a list over, Andy. I haven't. Cannibal Curd, no. Oh, that's Buckethead, right? Oh, yeah, he does have writing credit on that one. Poor Bumblefoot. Absolutely no writing credits on the whole fucking album. Okay, so someone earlier said that this is the worst song on the album. I don't mind this song, actually. I quite like this song, actually. Tell a lie. I think the riff in there is maybe a bit straightforward. Well, even the harmony of the riff is a bit straightforward. That just boom, let's keep going up, then go up, let's go down, and then we go up, let's keep going up and up. But the reason this is one of the best moments on the album, and I'll point this out when I make my video talking about this record, the vocal that Axel sings at the end of the as it goes into the solo, the high scream, I think is the highest scream on the album. And how long he holds that note for is ridiculous. I mean, sure, it could be massaged in the studio, but... Hello, Paul. How's it going, brother? Gonna call the president. Call myself a private. Gonna need the IRS. Gonna get the FBI. So for this vocal, it's coming in. It's such a crime, you know it's true, and the scream untrue. Feeling like I never get tired of this song. I do get tired of this song because it's a bit repetitive. Gonna go the president. Gonna go the private eye. Gonna get the IRS. I guess the flaw of this song is it doesn't really have a chorus, like a definable chorus. Here we go. This high note here. I'm gone. I don't think that's massage. I think he just nailed that. Buckethead. That's one hell of a fucking scream. Killer. Now, of course, this does suffer the classic failure, I think, of a lot of rock albums, especially long rock albums, where they drop off significantly towards the end. Why would it never focus on my face? There we go. I'll just sit here. What have you emailed me? Let's have a look. Okay. See, I don't really rate this song. Oh, this has the Martin Luther King speech in this. Is that right? Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Is that? I'm sure that's Martin Luther King. Da-da. Who's that? And that da 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 da. That's like your classic Buckethead melody, right? Yeah, so not crazy on that song. Definitely not crazy on that song. So this I love. Really listen to the lyrics on this. And remember, this is a person. So the live versions of this are never good, right? The studio version of this is very good. I like it. I like how much you know about this album, Randy. Then you get those rhythm guitars come in, pad it out a little bit. Is a great solo on this record, on this track. And it's a Robin Fink solo. Information from Randy Wilcox. Oh, okay, fair enough. Fuck. That's a really nice solo. Very nice solo. So I find that really interesting. Obviously, I talk about this album because I love it because Bumblefoot plays all over it, right? You got all these cool fretless solos and shit, right? But the three solos that really stand out would be the outro solo on Better. It's a great solo. The main solo on There Was a Time. And this solo. And all three of them are Robin Fink. It's a nice solo. Killed it. Well done, Robin. Well, I think, the obvious criticism I'd have for Buckethead and for Bumblefoot is that they're both very technically gifted guitar players, and they like to remind you of that. And I also think that I don't want to sound like the old boomer that says, "Oh, fast guitar player has no feeling." Um, but in order to develop that speed, I'm not going to say that it has to come at the cost of something else. But when you have a player that's developed that much speed, a lot of time goes into that, and you can't devote all of the time to everything. Robin doesn't have those chops, right? But some of those bending licks he has, he will have devoted just as much time to that as Buckethead will have devoted to uh, synchronization of pick and left hand, right? Um, and it just makes them very different players. Not better, not worse, just different. Um, Robin's been able to use that stuff, use the thing that he's developed in really expressive ways on this album. Where Buckethead does the things that he does really well on this album, again, he does them awesomely. Is oh god, I'm Donald Trump. He does them fantastically. Yeah. Okay. Final song, "Prostitutes." It is mellow and rarely speedy and technical. I'll give you that, but I don't find it strong melodically. Just because somebody who can play something fast chooses to play something slow, it doesn't inherently mean that it's melodically strong. You know what I mean? It takes a lot more to play something strong and melodic than to just look at the chord progression and say, "Oh, well, the correct set of notes here would be F sharp Aeolian, so I'll just play using the notes from F sharp Aeolian, but I'll play them slow, it will work." It's more to it than that. That's a good vocal hook. It's funny, like Mike mentioned it on the podcast this week, but me and Mike bonded for our first time. We met in a pub for the first time properly. He was wearing a Periphery top, and we got talking about music and guitar. And then Buckethead came up, and I said, "Yeah, he's good, but I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan. Like, it's not one of my favorite players." And this really irked Mike, and he then chose to spend the entire night following me everywhere, telling me about Buckethead and calling me wrong. And then even after the night had ended and we'd gone our separate ways earlier in the night, he caught me outside when we were getting taxis, and he was like, "Go home and listen to Buckethead, you fucking waster," or words to that effect. Very endearing. My camera's not stopped. Well, that's a good sign. I like the drums on this track. Yeah, this song is really driven by the drums. Who's playing drums on this track? Okay, yeah. That's Brian Mantia. Wonder who that is. I admire how well he integrates whammy pedal stuff into his playing. He hits that bend and you think he's it's bend, and then suddenly it just goes further than it possibly could from bending a string. You're like, oh right, okay. And while I'm sat here commenting on Buckethead's ability to play melody, it's also worth considering that melody is very subjective. People's idea of what makes a good melody and what makes a strong melody is vastly subjective. If you took a melody from today that's massively popular and you took that back 100 years and had people listen to that same melody, it would have a very different impact on people. And inherently, my ear for melody, my interest in melody is definitely a very old, traditional ear for melody. Not traditional was incorrect. It's probably the wrong. When I say traditional, I guess I mean traditional jazz sound. Yeah. So Richard Henry says, fair enough. Generally surprised. Great album. It's a good album. Very good album. A lot of respect for Robin Fink after that. All the best solos on the album, I think, were his. All the best solos on the album were his. Yeah, I still plan to make a video on this album, talking about this album, because what will rile the internet up more than making a video saying Chinese Democracy is Guns N' Roses' second best album? And then, more importantly, being able to justify why you believe that, why you hold that opinion. And I definitely can hold that opinion. I can definitely hold that opinion on this one. It still is a very good album. I do think it's a very good album. It's got what you want. It showcases Axl Rose's vocals wonderfully. He's obviously, if you don't like Axl Rose, you're not going to like this album. If you like Axl's voice and you can go into this looking for more of that, then you're going to enjoy it. It's a different vibe to Guns N' Roses, classic Guns N' Roses. It's obviously a lot heavier. It's a lot more metal than hard rock. I'm okay with that, obviously, because I like the hard rock into metal sound. But it's not a thrash album. So, very cool. Riyadh and the Bedouins is probably like the low-key great song on the album. Outside of that, Shackles Revenge, I can't get over how much I love that song. Love the solos on it, love the outro, the tapping part in the outro, love the overall Buckethead vibe on the track. The song Better is wonderful. Robin Fink's solo on the outro of that is very, very good. The song Chinese Democracy, yeah, I mean, that one's okay. Street Dreams, a little bit long maybe. If the World, yeah, cool, why not? There Was a Time, sure. Catcher in the Rye, sure. But Scraped and Riyadh and the Bedouins I really enjoy. IRS, the overall vibe of the song, it feels a little bit straightforward, a little bit knuckle draggy if you like, but that vocal part at the as it goes into the guitar solo, just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely love that. But even then, still great vocal melodies on songs like Prostitute. This I love. I do like it. It's a nice song. Again, great solo on it. So I do like this record. I'm sorry if that's controversial. I think it's a very good record. I don't know why I still have that. I'll probably bring my face back now, can't I? Did something strange to my screen. Put me in 4K resolution. Because I have 4K monitors that I run in 1080. The joys of technology, right? So cool. Let me just do my credits screen. So as always, thank you very much to my wonderful Patreon supporters. You guys are being listed in the credits right now. We'll see some names. We see Jeff there. Jeff is commenting now. Zero Jeff. Thank you very much for your continued support, bud. We need to hook up for a lesson soon, by the way. Yeah, thank you very much for your support, guys. If you would like to check me out on Patreon, there's a link in the description. You can do so for as little as $1. It's a great way to support the channel and a great way to help me to continue to do these types of things. If you don't want to do that, that is also fine too. There's a link in the description where you can check out one of my books. Those are some of my books. I have more books than that. Check them out on Amazon. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Links below. Smash that like button, all of that cheesy shit. Let me see what any final comments are. So, thanks for doing this listening party. Haven't listened to this album in almost a decade. Wow. Forgot how much I liked it on the whole. Yeah. Easier to rile up the internet while arguing that Saint Anger is the best Metallica album. Yeah, good point. I could probably do that too. I mean, I don't think that actually. I couldn't do that. I have too much integrity than to make a video that I don't believe, to state an opinion as though it's fact. Or sorry, to state an opinion as though I hold it when I actually don't. And I don't really like Saint Anger. So, Headroom, greater than the sum of its parts, indifferent to all these artists on their own. But this is a killer album. Totally class. Yeah, I would go as far as saying that. I would definitely go as far as saying that. Kind of like what we were talking about on the Guitar Souls this week, agreeing with Rick Beato, saying that I think you need, if you're a guitar player, you need to work with a great singer in order to be a guitar hero. You have to do something special to reach that different next level of audience, you know? And in this setting, you know, Buckethead, Bumblefoot, Robin Thicke, who else? Richard Fortus. They are working with one of the greatest singers of all time, the greatest rock singers of all time, or certainly one of the most unique rock singers of all time, and that works. So this puts them in that in the picture frame, if you like, of greatness. Yeah, and I think this album is better than just about any Buckethead album. And it's unfair when I say that. It sounds like I'm attacking Buckethead, but I don't mean it that way, because I can also say this is, as a whole, this is a better album than any of Bumblefoot's solo records. And that hurts me to say, but that's me trying to be objective. Not because I don't love Bumblefoot solo albums, because I fucking do. They're some of my favourite albums ever. But this is just next level cool, because it is just this massive collaborative project where you've got so many people, so many great people coming together to create this big piece of art. And I like the finished product. I do like the finished product. So yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And Dragons of Eden. I'm leaving the computer now, Cannibal Curd, but if you could leave, not in the chat log for this, but in the comment section of the video or on any of my other videos, if you leave a comment reminding me that when I'm back at my PC, I'll see it, and I will do that. So yes. As always, guys, thank you so much for checking this video out. Thankfully, my camera stayed working, which is nice. You guys absolutely rock. Thank you for checking this stream out. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Link below, comments, talk to me, talk to everybody. Check me out on Discord, all of that good stuff. And I will see you for another video. Well, lots more videos soon. I'll be doing a lot more videos soon, okay? So, because I'm starting to feel like a human again, which is nice. My tongue still hurts a little bit, but it's not, you know, crippling. I'm not going to A&E again like I already have once this week. So that's good. Right. Peace out, motherfuckers, and I'll see you for another video soon. Goodbye.